Over the past year, a disturbing pattern has emerged. People pardoned or granted clemency by Donald Trump, who are then later charged with fresh crimes. This isn't coincidence. It points to a deeper danger: the abuse of one of the broadest powers in the Constitution. Take the cases of these four very different men. On a Monday this year, Jonathan Braun received a 27-month prison sentence. He was convicted after prosecutors detailed vicious assaults on his children's nanny, an attack on a nurse with an IV pole, and deplorable violence against a 3-year-old child. Braun had previously received clemency from the president. In October, Christopher Moynihan was arrested for a threatening text message, a vow to eliminate House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries at an event in New York City. Moynihan, too, had been on the president's pardon list. In March, a federal jury convicted Eliyahu Weinstein for defrauding investors of roughly $41 million. He promised access to scarce COVID-era supplies, promises the jury found were lies. And in January, an Indiana sheriff's deputy shot and killed Matthew Huttle during a traffic stop. Huttle, previously granted clemency, resisted arrest on a felony warrant. A special prosecutor ruled the use of force justified, as Huttle had raised a firearm. But his presence there at all stemmed from a pardon that wiped his earlier conviction clean. 4 men, 4 very different crimes. One common thread: each had previously been pardoned, had their sentence commuted, or received clemency from President Trump. These 4 are only a sample. Our investigation finds at least 8 people pardoned by the president during his first term have since been charged with new crimes. Several others pardoned after the January 6 convictions have also run into trouble with the law. And the pardons keep coming. On Sunday, the president issued sweeping clemency to 77 people tied to efforts to subvert the 2020 election. That list included Glenn Quesada and Cade Cothran, convicted of wire fraud and money laundering, and is Robert Harshbarger Jr., who pleaded guilty to healthcare fraud and distributing misbranded drugs. One of the most incredibly brazen acts came with the pardon of Changpeng Zhao, the billionaire founder of a global crypto exchange. Reports show his company's actions boosted a stablecoin linked to the president's family venture, its market value soaring from about $127 million to over $2 billion. That pardon raised immediate questions about conflicts of interest and the transactional use of mercy. Presidential misuse of pardons isn't new. Every generation has tested the limits. President Biden issued thousands of commutations and dozens of pardons, an unusually high number, some controversial. Bill Clinton's last-minute pardon of financier Mark Rich provoked scandal and congressional inquiry. Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon divided the nation for shielding a president from justice. And Andrew Johnson's mass pardons of Confederate leaders after the Civil War helped restore those who fought to destroy the Union, and paved the way for a century of racial oppression. But there's a crucial difference now. President Trump's pardons go beyond controversial mercy. They reward political allies, absolve crimes that served his personal or political ends, and excuse acts that undermined democratic order. The architects of the Constitution saw this danger coming. Article 2 grants the President power to grant reprieves and pardons for offences against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. No other federal power is written with fewer constraints. At the Virginia Ratifying Convention, George Mason warned the President may frequently pardon crimes which were advised by himself. Cato, believed to be George Clinton, cautioned against an unrestrained power of granting pardons for treason, which could protect a president's own agents. And Brutus feared it would gratify personal interest and ambition. The founders believed impeachment would be the fail-safe. If a president abused the pardon power, Congress could impeach and remove him. But history has proven otherwise. No president has ever been removed by the Senate. Party loyalty, polarization, and the two-thirds vote requirement make impeachment more theory than remedy. When that check fails, the president's mercy becomes nearly absolute. He can reward corruption, erase convictions, even preempt accountability for acts that protect his own rule. And all of it entirely legal under today's Constitution. What happens if that power is wielded to protect those who undermine elections? Imagine operatives who tamper with vote counts, suppress turnout, or use violence to intimidate, knowing they'll be pardoned if their candidate wins. Imagine a 2028 landscape where a chosen successor inherits power free of any federal criminal risk. We don't need imagination to see the threat. The January 6 pardons already proved that loyalty to the leader can outweigh loyalty to the law. If presidents can preempt justice for those who attack democracy, then elections become contests not of ideas, but of impunity. Unchecked, this dynamic could hollow out the rule of law and turn the presidency itself into a shield against accountability. There is a fix. Amend Article 2 so that the President shall have power, with the advice and consent of two-thirds of the Senate, to grant reprieves and pardons for offences against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. This reform keeps mercy possible, but only when a bipartisan supermajority agrees it serves justice, not politics. It transforms the pardon from a personal favour into a collective act of conscience. The pardon power is a relic of royal privilege, and a dangerous one if left unchecked. Our republic has survived past abuses through reform. If we care about democracy's future, we must be willing to close this loophole and protect the rule of law itself. And as Lord Acton once said, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is Will Summer saying thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe to keep truth alive.